Hi, I'm Andy Lyons. I'm a staff photographer for Getty Images and a former runner at Western Kentucky University. We're gathered here for the 40th anniversary of one of the great teams, and maybe the greatest team in Western Kentucky history, and it was the 1974 cross-country team. I wound up running at Western Kentucky because of these gentlemen, and I grew up a running fan. My brothers were runners, and this team I got to know because of my brother was at Western Kentucky, and he had these yearbooks, and they would bring them home, and I started looking at pictures, and they were incredible pictures and of everything, but the runners captured my imagination. A lot of the credit, of this team and everyone goes to the legendary Nick Rose, who was and looked like Robert Plant. The flowing mane, just this incredibly handsome, dashing. He would have been a movie star. And they all had this long hair, and they all looked like something out of a rock band. My older brothers used to give me posters of the Beatles and Led Zeppelin, and I had these big posters on the wall, and it looked like them, and I was so enraptured with these guys. And I never knew them. And I had put all these different personas to go with these guys, and when I became a runner, they were there in my mind when I was running and training, and I was lucky enough to come to Western Kentucky University, and I ran and I did my thing, and I got into photography, and my photography was a result of these men and of the men that I ran with. I was making pictures, and my teammates wanted to see the pictures, and of course we would look at them and they would see them, and we were all happy. And what began was they wanted my extra copies of pictures, and I was like, okay, yeah, why? But they just wanted them. And so what happened was, these were pictures they were sending home to their families, thousands and thousands and thousands of miles away. And this was before the internet and everything like that, and although I don't look that old, I am, it became a communication source for these kids, and so I began my journey in photography because of that. I was just like, how can I ever do another thing in my life that would be as important or as meaningful or influencing people's lives and helping them be parts with other people than my photography? And thus began my career, and it all came to full circle when we started here at Western Kentucky having these reunions and these get-togethers. I had never met the legendary Nick Rose, and I had never met Hector Ortez, who was Western Kentucky University's first cross-country All-American, and I had never met the great Jesse Stewart, who was a shot putter, world-class shot putter, who looked like something out of a Muppet movie. This hair and this big, massive guy, and all of these guys. And so we start having these things, and I began slowly to meet my heroes. And they were bigger than life as I met them than they were in my mind through the pictures that had originally got me to be a photographer in the first place. And it's really weird because in my life, I've traveled the world, I've seen the world, I've shot the biggest events, I've been the biggest events, I've been around so many great athletes. But for me, coming home, per se, to be with my family my athletes, the guys that I ran with, and the guys that came before me, and then meeting all the great ones. And they were so much a part of my life and journey as a photographer because of those yearbooks I looked at as a little kid, and it helped me see the world as well, because I had never really ever been anywhere, and it was so glamorous to think of these guys from different countries and stuff like that, and then I became that. You know, I had that lifestyle, and I became that. And my journey at Western Kentucky as an athlete was up and down, up and down, up and down. But my journey as an athlete slash photographer was always up. The trajectory was always up, because I was able to meet and be influenced by so many great athletes. And so we gathered again here this weekend, and I didn't run, and I so wanted to run. It was aching my heart because it's so much part of my life, but the greater part of my life was the one that needed to be satisfied for myself and also for everyone else, which was to make photographs again. And so I drove in the car, and I would get in the car and I'd drive, and I would jump out in the middle of traffic and just park the car and shoot pictures, and that's what I did. And it was a great experience to capture in forever these great athletes who are my heroes again. So I got to be with them again, kind of the way that I started. I'm going to be with them in their pictures. But they're all wonderful human beings. And so my journey was through these guys who were not only rock stars, they were superheroes. They were Batman, Robin, the Green Lantern, the Flash. They were all of those things, and very neat. And so it's really weird how I was just speaking of it, that it's kismet. We all come together in life in certain ways, and we don't even realize it. We don't realize how fortunate we are, and how each little piece brings into the whole. And here at Western Kentucky, we were all pieces of the whole. And we all, last night, the team was recognized at the football field, and they were very emotional. I was down there, you know, I was like a little kid shooting pictures, doing my gig, and we were all a piece of it. And I think that's very important, that all of us were touched. All of us were emotional. We all felt it. We were so proud of our brothers, and we were so sad for the great late Chris Riddler, who couldn't be here with us. And but we were all a part of it. And I think Nick Rose said it so poignantly to me in a quiet, getaway. We were just chatting, me and him, and he was just telling me that I just do what I do, and I'm not very, I'm not a big star, and he isn't, and that's one of the unique things about my life, is that, again, Robert Plant, the little 120-pound Robert Plant running out there, he, 40 years later, we're having a conversation, and he was just telling me I'm kind of a shy guy. I kind of like to sit back in the background, and this is one of the greatest runners that no one knows of. It's the craziest thing, because he is a star, but most people who are not super duper running stars don't know that about him. So anyway, I hope that all your running dreams come true, as mine have. And as SpongeBob says, in life, all we have to do is use our imagination, and you never know where it's going to take us.